Hi, I'm Lady Lex UK, and this week on the channel we are looking at escape rooms. So for my escape room tutorial this week, we're going to be looking at a few elements that are available in the Dreamiverse that you might want to use for compiling a escape room puzzle of your own. Now, the thing about escape room puzzles is they do require some logic knowledge. It's not that easy to find plug and play assets that you can just place down like you would for a platformer, and voila, you've got an escape room puzzle. In order to have a successful chain of puzzle elements, you're going to need some logic knowledge, and but here are some simple little elements that you might want to use. And so I'm just going to show you how you could string things together and make a little puzzle. So this is a quick and simple puzzle. We have a room here. It's only got one door. I can't get out. We've got a keypad over here. I can select numbers like this, but I don't know what the code is, so we'll walk away from that. There's a pillar, a pedestal here. If I walk up to it, it gives me the option to move it like that. There's a strange circular thing on the side of that. And we've got a fireplace with a fire, but it's not on, and a pressure gauge. So this is giving me clues that maybe I need to light that fire. How do I do that? Well, there's a lever on the wall. Let's see what that does. And yep, that circular thing was a laser. So if I can move this pillar, I might be able to light the fire. So let's do that. Whoop. There we go, get close to it. There we go, I've lit the fire. The pressure gauge is going. Oh, it's giving me a number, 2043. Let's go over to the key. 2043. Yep, that appears to have worked, and now we can go out the door. Okay, so a simple little puzzle. It doesn't take long to play. It took me quite a while to design and build, though. And that's the thing about escape rooms. They do take a time, and you've got to work out how you're going to reveal the codes, what they're going to be able to open, etc., etc. So there's a lot of things in here. Let's go to a brand new scene, and I'll show you all the single elements and how you can use them. Right, so we've got ourselves a blank scene. I've just created a wall with a hole in it, and I'm going to create a door, a very simple one, just with this block here. There's our door. Doesn't look like much of a door right now, but it will do. Okay, so the first thing we do is put the keypad in. So let's search for it. Here it is. It's a keypad lock with logic v1.0 by Michael Keith 314. So we'll put that in. It's a bit big, so we'll just reduce it down in size so it's a decent size for the door. There we go. That will do. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of microchips here. We're only really interested in the green one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that up. There we go. There it is. And there's a lot of microchips, and it can be a bit difficult to work out, what have I got to look at? What am I interested in? The only thing you're interested in is two microchips. There's this one here, which says unlock code, and this one here that says unlock. Let's just extend that a little bit. So here we have the unlock code chip. We open that up, and this is the code, the 3141. Don't get confused by the common. This is just the way numbers are displayed in this particular gadget. It is just 3141. And to change it to the code that you want, you press L1 square, and we can change it to whatever we like. I'm going to put something simple in that I'm going to remember. That's not a great code, but for testing purposes, that will do for us. Right, okay, so we've put our code in, and then over here, we have what happens if that code is put in correctly and we've unlocked whatever the keypad is protecting. In this case, our door. So we're going to need to put in a keyframe. And then we lift that up like that. And press record. Let's go into it. We'll give it like a slow raise up 4 seconds. And keep changing so it stays up once it's done. And then we'll rig that up to that. So there we have keyframe. So let's see if that works. Let's go up to there. Okay. So let's put in any old code. Doesn't work. Put in our proper code. And the door opens and it slides open. So that works, and we've got a little ding-a-dee-ding for our troubles as well. So there we go. That's done. Now, except we won't be using our imp. I'm gonna use a player. So we need to come out, make sure we're completely out, and put in our player. There he is. And the first thing I want to do is go into his controller sensor and make sure he is force possessed. We don't want to see the imp. We don't need the imp. And we don't want to force the player to... we don't want him to have access to the scene with the imp. We want him to play with the player. So we'll close that off. And come out of there. Right, okay, so now we have a player. Now, if I play like this, now you can see in the background there, this keypad will work, doesn't matter where your player is. Just about see it in the distance there. We don't want this. We want the player to have to be close to the keypad for it to work. So we're going to need some sort of trigger zone. So make sure you're out of everything. Let's put down a trigger zone. The trigger zone will default to this circle shape. I prefer the squares, especially for things that are square like this. It makes more sense. And this is going to be looking for a possessed controller sensor, i.e. our player. And so we need to move that next to the door. I don't want it there we go. So you stand in front of it, that trigger zone will activate. And we also want a camera. I'm going to put camera down. I'm going to L1 and X, and then just position it where I want it to be. I want it to be right about there. Okay, so we're going to link the detected to the camera, and we also don't want this to work at distance, so we're going to go detective, and we're just going to link it to the power node of that first controller microchip. So now from here I'm pressing the D-pad and you can't see anything. Let's move over there. We've zoomed in. The camera goes straight through our player and into the view that we want. And then we can put in our code. As you see, the door is open because I didn't reset it, but anyway, that is now done. You can tidy this up by putting these inside one of the active microchips, or put it in its own microchip, but it's alright like that. We know what it's doing. Right, so now let's move on to the moving pillar. Okay, so the moving pillar is inside the Traps, Triggers and Puzzles collection. That's this one here, which is part of the Dungeon Crawler kit. So let's pop our moving pillar down. Make sure you are not scoped into anything else. So unscope everything. You don't want anything connected to anything else. You want all these elements to be free, because otherwise things stop working or don't work properly. It's also a little bit big compared to our character, so we'll just make it a little bit smaller, like so. Right, so this is not going to work with our character here, because, like I say, it's designed to work with something called an adventure mannequin, which is part of the Dungeon Crawler kit. But it's a very easy fix. We just go into our puppet and label him up as friend, and that's it. This should now work. So we'll go in, and yep, it'll now work. But as you'll notice, as we are pushing it, our character is jumping, because the adventure character doesn't have a jump function, and this one does. Now, you could disarm the jump function from this puppet, or if you wanted to keep the jump function for the puppet, you've got to somehow stop it from activating if you're standing next to a moving pillar. And that's quite simple to do. I've experimented with a few things. This is what works. I'm sure there are other ways of doing this, but this is how I've chosen to do it, which I know works. So I'm going to open up my puppet logic, my controller logic, and you can see here is my cross button to the jump. I'm going to need an AND gate, and I will take the wire off the jump and put the wire in there, and put this wire result in the jump. So if you press the X button now, it will jump, but we're going to put something in here, the AND part. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up block logic, movement logic, deep within here, and then activation. Right in here are all the trigger zone sensors for that block. What it's looking for is whether it's on the floor, whether there's anything in the way that would stop it from moving in a particular direction and stopping you from moving if it does, and also a friend tag, and it detects that friend tag here, here, and here, and then all the way down, duplicated. So what we want to do is if the friend tag is detected, we don't want the controller logic to activate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a NOT gate in. I'm just going to wire up all of these friend tags to this NOT gate. And I'm going to wire the NOT output into the AND gate. So now I can jump unless I'm standing next to this, and I can. Now, the sensor for the text on some of these angles is you might get a jump, but the pillar won't move. But if the pillar is in a position to move, then he won't jump. Okay, Now you also notice there is this marker here. Now, I would recommend scoping into scope once and then scoping out. So this is independent. So you can mark this down as its starting position. And then go into play mode. Go where you want him to move it to. We'll just move it 3 across like that. Then make a copy and plonk it down. It's difficult in 3D, but you want it and where that will roughly do it. Okay, so there we go. So now the player has some indication that he needs to move that to there. Okay, so now let's add a laser element. The reason for moving the pillar. So let's just close down all of these. We don't want to get confused. Okay, so I need a laser beam and I need a laser receiver. Okay, this has got a nice big pink guard on it, guide rather. So we'll just pop that down there like that, and I'm going to put that up there like that. Okay, so we're going to scope into the pillar and pop our laser down. So that is now part of the pillar. So we'll go in and there we go. There is our laser. So if our laser was here, which is our end position, make sure this isn't scoped into anything. And we're going to open up its microchip. It makes it easier to see. There we go. We're going to position this so it is at the end of the laser. And you can see this goes black if it's in position. So if I move that, you can see. Okay. So that's where it needs to be. And that will activate our laser. And it goes into this counter. And you can wire anything you like from this counter that will activate things. So I'm just going to put in my bog standard indicator, which is a light. This is very useful. You just put a spotlight in and wire up the power to the spotlight. There we go. You can see. Right, that is killing our player, so let's move him out of the way. Okay. Now then, did we accidentally... No, we didn't. Good. Make sure these are two separate things, otherwise this is not going to work. And we will move him back to his starting position. So we've got a laser, we've got a laser receiver, and we can now move our pillar. That's interesting. Okay, so that is in its finished position. I haven't got this in quite the right place. There we go. So we need to move this again. It's all a bit of trial and error with these sort of things. Okay, so that would have that would have worked. Let's try it again then, just to make sure. There we go. Now you can have the sensors very, very obvious, or you can have them not particularly obvious. So you can make this invisible. You just click on that so it's not visible. So maybe that this is aimed at a painting or something. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you could do, and you could activate a timeline of animation. So let's say the laser is cutting through, or say a painting. We'll put a painting there, cutting through a painting and burning it all up. You know, and then that reveals a code. So there you go. So there's that. Now we want to be able to have this laser on. Don't have it on all the way through. So we're gonna get the laser beam logic up here. Okay, here's our laser beam logic. I'm gonna add. Actually, we don't need to activate that. Well, I'm going to open it that way. There we go. Laser beam logic. That is for the laser beam. And we need to wire that to our lever. So let's get our lever up. Here's our lever. We'll put it on the wall. Make sure the lever... Make sure we are not in anything. Okay. Open up the functions for this, and you can see we have a selector here. So you've got an A state and a B state for the lever. So B is our on state. So what we need to do is create a switch. So let's put a switch in. And you can put the switch, I would put it actually on here. And I would link that switch to the power of our laser beam. And I'd have it switched off. Then we can go from B state to switch. So now you see our laser is not on. And now it is. And now it isn't. There we go. Very simple. And this laser is also deadly, by the way. If you were to stand in front of it, it will kill you. So that's an added hazard as well. So that's basically it. I mean, we had an extra little bit that put up a number and with a gauge. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of the animation of the pressure gauge because it's one of those puzzle elements. You know, it's up to you to create an animation or something that's going to happen with the results. So this is pretty much exactly what we got otherwise. So we've got a light switch coming on here instead of the fire coming on, but it's all exactly the same. And when the fire is on, there was a timeline which moved some hands on the gauge, and then when that was finished, it then made some numbers visible. So things like that. That's all you really need to make a string of puzzles. So I hope that was useful. Things about the moving pillar that you could pop that in and want to use it, but because you're using a mannequin, it doesn't work, and it takes a while for you to work it out. So hopefully that's solved that problem for you, and you can use it. And also the uses of these lasers, it's not that obvious. Now there is a mirror And I haven't gone into it because I haven't quite mastered it yet, because there is some issues with the mirror because it automatically turns and stuff. So I'm not going to do anything with the mirror in that kit, which is why the room was as simple as it was. But maybe at a later date I'll have a look at the mirror puzzle and make a tutorial for that. But as it is, we're going to leave it there. Hope that was useful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the dreams.